Hi, I'm Hazel. I'm stuck in a rut. I can't lose the weight. I did lose the weight initially when I went plant-based. I lost like 15 kilos, maybe 8 years ago. And kilo after kilo after kilo just melted off with plants. With plants and with some emotional factors that I had in place back then. And then around COVID, I lost intentionally those emotional factors because they were actually bad for me. They weren't supportive. But I haven't since then figured out how to emotionally support myself appropriately. And so the weight has just come back. And so, of course, that means you're a failure because, the diet didn't work. And just to be honest, I didn't actually diet with plants. I just ate more plants, which is kind of the reason why I wanted to do that, because I hate dieting, or not hate dieting, but I can't diet. So yeah, I'm a failure, but it doesn't feel, my life on plants doesn't feel like a failure to me. And I was really happy about that. And I wish more women knew about this. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to share with you some of the reasons why, as a woman, I feel safer and have absolutely no regrets about eating plants. So the first reason is going to sound weird. In fact, it's probably going to sound downright wrong to you, and that would be I've said goodbye to iron deficiency. Almost every woman I talk to about plants, one of her questions is, well, I need to eat meat in order to have more iron because I usually get low iron or I'm iron deficient. And the fact is, I don't want to say that we've been lied to. So we've been taught to eat meat as if it's the superior or the only reliable way to get iron into our bodies. And the fact is, I've been deficient as a meat eater, first as a meat eater and then also as a plant muncher. And so then I realized to myself, well, it's not actually the food, it's my relationship to food, because in both of those instances I was trying desperately to lose weight. And so I was exercising and shrinking the amount that I ate, and there was just like this super imbalance, and then that expressed itself through iron deficiency. We're also taught not to think as effectively as we could about this issue. And what I mean by that is that we're taught to focus on trying to control or increase the amount of iron that goes in, but we're never actually told about how to keep the iron in. And I'm motioning upwards because as a woman who gets her periods, that's the main way that I lose my iron. And so the focus is on how much iron is going in, and not actually what are you losing, and what can you do to prevent yourself from losing iron. I mean, there was that one time when my doctor asked me, do you get heavy periods? And I was just sitting there looking at it thinking, I don't measure my periods. I don't like take a measuring cup and then like in the toilet try and like check if it's like 50 mils this month and like maybe 20 mils last month. And I certainly don't check how many mils I've lost this year and compare it to my friend over there to see if I've got a heavy period. Like what does that even mean, having a heavy period? And the point of saying that is, if you're asked or you ask yourself an irrelevant question, then you're going to get back an irrelevant answer. The question, how do you get enough iron into your body, is actually kind of an irrelevant question. I do now get enough iron into my body, like being completely lazy and not even thinking about it. Now, when I say lazy, I don't mean like eating a loaf of olive sourdough after work because I'm tired and I'm lazy day on day for months and months. I did do that once, and I definitely became iron deficient after that kind of laziness. What I mean now by laziness is like eating legumes which have iron in them, so chickpeas, lentils, and being lazy by putting them into an Instant Pot and letting the Instant Pot do all of the work, but I'm still getting all the nutrients that I need. The second part of that is, what's the right question? And the right question is to ask, how do I keep the iron that I do have? And the answer to that is very, very simple. It's with ground ginger. 1/8 of a teaspoon is what I take 3 times a day when I'm on my period. I start taking it like as soon as like I start spotting, and that just like drastically reduces the amount of blood that I lose. And so, of course, the less blood that you lose, the less iron that you lose, and the less iron that you lose, the less dizzy you feel, and the less dizzy you feel, the less scared you feel of falling over. And of course, I feel much safer now eating and living this way. And the second reason I will never go back from eating plants is my surprise periods. And I know that sounds like really weird. Like why would you want to be surprised by your period? And the fact is I don't get PMS anymore. I don't get like those dreaded ugly pimple, like those pussy ugly pimples anymore. I just don't freak out in that lead up to getting your period. And my period is very light, that it's just like, even when it does come, it's just like, hello, I'm here. And it also, it fluctuates a lot with the quality of how I eat. So I can tell if I've taken care of myself really well in this last month because it just stretches out. And that's actually an indication of you being healthier, your hormones being more balanced, and the fact that, oh yay, I'm now also preventing like breast cancer in the future this month, at least with this month. Yay! Like if it's Easter or Christmas, or just like I've just been too busy, or I just haven't taken care of myself, then yeah, my period comes a lot sooner. And it's still a surprise, but it's never as bad as what it used to be. It's never like a 6-day heavy period. It's not like hugging that hot water bottle like on day 2, just like going, oh my god, I wish I was dead. So in reflecting on this, I can tell that like the worst experience I can have with a plant-based period is still like miles ahead of like the best day on a meat-based period. So the third way that I feel safer as a woman eating plants is Jon Snow. So the plants are Jon Snow in this example, and that oncoming army that's coming to kill him is the pain of depression, for lack of a better term. I didn't know that this was an advantage of eating plant-based. When I went plant-based, I did it mostly for the weight and because it could prevent cancer. But really, it's like this huge burden of weight that you don't need to experience once you're eating a lot more plants. I didn't realize the power of plants until maybe a year after eating mostly plant-based. And it was just after Christmas, so I just like, oh, it's Christmas, you've done well so far, you've lost that weight, like let's just be logical and reasonable about this and go to town on the Christmas cake and all the stuff that you've been missing out on, like you've done well. And then a few days after Christmas season, I woke up one morning and I didn't feel like myself. Like this weighted shroud or this weighted blanket was just hanging over me, and I'm lying there in bed and I don't want to get up. I don't have the physical strength to get up, and like I need to push that thing that's on me. I need to push it up and off and then get up out of bed, and I didn't have like the emotional willpower to do that either. And I was really confused because this didn't feel like me, but like another part of me was like, this actually does feel really familiar. And then I remembered that this is actually the way I used to feel waking up every single day. There was a time in my life, like most of my life, I've had that weight on me, and so I didn't even realize that was a weight to be removed when I went to eat plants. And then I didn't actually realize it had been removed until it fell back on me after eating pretty crap. And I woke up that day feeling I don't want to say crap. It's just like this burden. Like the burden of life is now back on my shoulders. And now I don't go to town so much during Easter or Christmas. I'll still, I don't want to say lapse, but I'll still indulge here and there, but it's still mostly like 90% plants, and I've not had that experience again, which is awesome. So my fourth no regrets with plant-based eating reason is that my life has gone from horror movie to head turner. And by that, I mean many years ago, there was this horror movie called The Ring where this girl, like this deathly white, she was dead, this deathly white girl with like long black hair would crawl up out of a well and come through the TV screen, and then she'd kill you. And she was pretty terrifying. I don't usually watch horror movies. And before I went plant-based, I was in my mid-20s, so the prime of my youth, and I was working as a nurse on a cancer ward, and this was a very serious cancer ward. This is where, unfortunately, if you're a patient and you came to our ward, you were like 95% chance not going to make it. The point being, I was really, really stressed out at that time, despite being in my mid-20s, despite being in the height of my youth. And there was many a time before a 7 a.m. shift where I would wake up and I'd be stumbling through my flat to the bathroom with like pre-dawn dim lighting, and I would go to look at the mirror and I'd be like, oh my god, because I looked like crap. Like my skin was pallid, and obviously it's morning, so that my hair was a mess. But it was really just like the person emanating at me in my reflection really reminded me of that horror movie girl. So you can guess what comes next. I started eating plants and everything got better. Well, no, so I started eating plants, and I didn't know at the time that within 6 weeks of eating more fruit and vegetables, like even just a few servings, not even like 100% vegan or anything strict like that, but just a few more servings every day, like literally it's been proven to make you more attractive. And it's like a subconscious thing where somebody looks at your skin and they can just tell that you're healthier, and because you're healthier, they find you more attractive. And so, like, I'm not saying that my life is like a movie now and people are turning their heads, but like literally people are turning their heads. First came the children. First came like not in a freaky way, but like just like they were noticing something happening, and so they would look at me and they'd stare at me, and like cute graceful dogs as well would just like come up, and they wanted my attention more than what I've ever experienced in my life. And then after them came like attention from women, and then after them came the attention from men. And not like that's what I'm not looking for that. I don't want to be like the next Sofia Vergara. I mean, maybe in this scene. But it's like nice, non-threatening, just kind of like curious and like more open-minded, more open-hearted attention. And I like that. It makes me, again, feel safer in this world, because when I was younger, the attention was like that, you know, that attention that like a heterosexual male gives you, and you're kind of like, you know, he wants to eat you, or he's like going to consume you. Whereas now it's like, oh, that's nice. Like people of all ages and of both sexes are trying just to connect with me more. I like that. And now for possibly my favorite, well no, they're all my favorite, but for one of my top favorite reasons of eating plant-based is that I get to stay lazy. And I say lazy, but like I really can't cook. I have no skills in the kitchen. Like I've tried, and that's just not going to develop. So any kind of diet, which isn't a diet, but any kind of food style that lets me be healthy and achieve my goals with minimal fuss is just like the tops for me. And so how do plants help me stay lazy? Well, like, I know I said that I gained most of the weight back, and I have gained most of the weight back, but I've never like gained all of the weight back, and I've never like gone above and beyond, which I've seen and heard like many other people who have been up and down on this journey as well. They gain it all back and more, and like plants just won't let you do that because plants inherently help you maintain your weight. So for example, and this is really surprising, but like eating an extra half cup of peanut butter a day doesn't actually add to your weight. So if I really need to eat my emotions on any given day, then I'll go launch for that teaspoon or tablespoon of peanut butter. And you know, the worst thing is that my weight stays the same. And I know why I've gained most of this weight back. It's from processed plant food. So by that, I mean all those chips, all the plant-based ice creams when I do eventually succumb to them, and just like flour, which is a plant, or like Oreos, which is a plant, but like technically that's not good for your weight. So I get to eat the peanut butter and eat my emotions because I haven't figured that out yet, but also don't gain the weight, which means I've also saved time in the future of not having to re-lose those extra 5 kilos on top of what I've already gained back right now. And then because I get to eat the peanut butter, and I know that that's so much better, and I do generally want to eat that over the ice cream, there is more space in my freezer for frozen mango. And so yay, that's my favorite fruit. But also mango helps you to prevent wrinkles. And so then of course I get to save time and money on my skincare routine instead of buying like these expensive serums that are probably going to make me break out because I've got really sensitive skin, and they probably don't work anyway. But here's something that's legitimately proven to improve your skin and protect yourself from future wrinkles, and it tastes great. And now I can shove more of that into my tiny little freezer. Yeah, so I will eventually try to go back to losing the weight, but every time I have, like 9 times out of 10, when I try to start losing the weight again, even despite what I've said about plants, I end up gaining more weight that week. And I know that's because I am compulsively eating my anxiety and my stress. And that's not the plant's fault. That's really not their fault. It's not even my fault. But until I solve the deeper issues, it's just not going to work for me. So we will see how I go, but I'm gonna keep eating plants because I enjoy them, and my life is just outright better because of them. In the meantime, I share videos about how to lazily eat simple and delicious foods that improve your skin, because I can do that. And check out this video where I show you how to drink hot chocolate to prevent future wrinkles. Oh, yum. Bye.